What's up, dude?
Hey,
I
Jered.
gotcha.
I know. I didn't know if you're gonna keep going on with your thought, but then you're quick and you're like, there
Nope.
we
I
go.
I stopped that thought and got the hey, dude. Hey,
Yeah,
Joel.
man. Okay,
How's it
all
going,
right. Well,
boss?
it's going pretty good, man. It's a nice Wednesday. Been getting a bunch of work done. It's cool.
Dude, Wednesdays are my favorite.
Yeah, I don't mind Wednesdays. Actually, like I don't really have any day of the week anymore that I don't like or do like because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, because maybe I just do something different that's interesting to me and it's not outside and there's not this huge
Mhm.
physical labor component. I'm not like, "Oh, great.
You're not
I need a
lifting heavy
break."
things into an airplane.
No, it's like I don't feel like I need this physical break. So when Friday comes along, I'm not like, "Oh, thank goodness it's Friday." I'm like, "Oh, it's Friday. Okay. Tomorrow
Dude,
will look much like." Huh?
is that weird to go from that? Like to go from how long did you load planes for?
12 years,
12 years.
give
Okay.
or take.
Is it weird to go from loading planes for 12 years to just bam, snap of a finger, now you work at home in front of a computer?
Yeah, it's the weird okay, it's weird, not really in my brain. It's weird in my body because I went from 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day to like
Mhm.
500.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's probably low, but like 1,000 steps a day. And so I can
Right.
feel it in my body. My body is like, are we sick? Are we like dying? We're not doing anything anymore. Like my
Right.
Apple Watch was like, we've seen it. We've noticed a change in your step behavior. And I'm like, I bet you
Yeah.
have. I
Big
bet
ol'
you
step.
have. And so, but like in my brain, it doesn't really, it's really not that different. I think finding a work cadence has been difficult, but I think I'm finally getting there. Like
Yeah.
finding out, okay, how can I be mentally tough to work in my home environment to like still apply all the high production value that I have that I learned through loading airplanes and apply
Yep.
it to working on my computer. And so over the last few months, well, over the whole time that I've been working in my basement, I've gotten better at that. And I've gotten figured out how to do it like in different parts of my house while still like taking care of kids and all this kind of stuff. And like,
Yep.
so that's been actually really fun to be like, oh, I'm getting better at my job. I'm doing it quicker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always wondered because like, my transition was slow.
yeah.
Like, I went to a little bit of computer work here and there, to a little more, to a little more, to a little more, and then eventually was, like, all computer work. And then I slowly transitioned to home. I didn't do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think the coolest part is, like, being able to go to your fridge and get food.
Yeah. Or like if I want to go make coffee upstairs, I can go make coffee.
Oh,
And
yeah, dude. Go
and
whip up an
so
espresso.
although I
Take
haven't
30 minutes to make an espresso.
yeah, you take 30 minutes to make an espresso. I haven't drank coffee in like 2 months.
Dude, you
Um,
gotta quit. You gotta stop that.
no, so this is what, so my hands are no better. They're still dry and cracked and gnarly. But
Mhm.
what I like is the lack of headache. And so I was talking to my wife about this because she has experienced like chronic pain throughout her life in various
Uh-huh.
stages. And she'll tell me, like, oh, I went to the chiropractor, I got an adjustment, and I don't feel pain. And it's the weirdest thing because
Mhm.
I certain you probably understand this too to some extent, where
Yeah.
you reach out in your mind for that pain and it's not there, and you're like, wait, what is this? And so
Uh-huh.
I noticed that in my head that since I haven't drank coffee, I reach out for this pain or this I will have this pain and it's not there. My head feels like thick and whole. It's so weird, but I don't think I want to go back. Like I want to drink coffee, but I don't want to like lose this.
Dude, no. I know, I know what you're talking about. I quit drinking coffee before for, like, a few months, and I know what you're talking about, that you're not gonna get the headache if you don't wake up and drink your coffee, right?
Yeah.
Plus, what I noticed is rather than drinking coffee, I'd wake up and drink water first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
and so you immediately get hydrated, which was really nice, like, made me feel really good, but I love coffee too much. I don't wanna not have coffee.
Yeah,
And
I
you know what?
know.
It's not
Yeah.
even like the taste of the coffee hitting my lips. It's literally like the experience of the coffee.
Hmm.
Because every morning I pour my cup of coffee, I go out on my patio, I read my Bible, I do my journal, and then it's just
Mhm.
that like holding the coffee cup in my hand and
Mhm.
being able to sip it
Mhm.
and having that warm thing there. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's, it's not even the coffee on my mouth. Like it's not the coffee on my tongue,
Yep.
on my taste buds.
Mhm.
It's kind of a weird thing. Probably similar to alcoholics. holding something in their
Yeah,
hand.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like cigarettes and everything.
Oh
Like
yeah,
all those
yeah.
little addictive things where it's like it's kind of funny. It's like our brain is like, I need the caffeine, dude. I don't care
Mhm.
about that crap. I just need the caffeine. But the
Yeah.
brain's like, yeah, well, he won't buy that. We got to make this an experience for him so he keeps doing it. So let's trick him into thinking that this is all worth it. And the brain's like, yeah, let's get him. Let's get it. Let's just give me what I need.
Yeah.
I wish I could
Because
make
what
the gym feel that way. Like I wish I could be
you
working
can,
out.
dude. You can. If you start exercising, you get addicted to it.
Yeah, that's what everybody
You
tells
do.
me.
Dude, you do 100%.
I never
Like,
did.
when I used to run a ton, it was like I got addicted to that. It's the I didn't get addicted to, like, the feeling that running brought, I guess, but it like, when you train for, like, a race and you're running a lot to train for it, the way your body feels, like, when you're almost ready for your race, like, you're tearing your body down, tearing your body down, tearing your body down, so you're kinda tired, but then you go through this short recovery phase before your race,
Mhm.
dude, and you feel so good. It's unreal. The problem is you can't stay there forever, right?
Sure,
So,
yeah.
but then you always wanna go back there. So, you have to go train for another race, right? But you feel
Oh,
like
yeah, I get it, yeah, the cycle.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
but
I
you feel
gotcha.
like I mean, you feel like $1,000,000. You pop out of bed, and you're like, "Ding,
Yeah,
whoa," and you're like, "Let's go do something."
yeah,
Like, instantly, and you're like that all day long, just like, "Rah!"
yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I like because I grew up doing gymnastics and I did it a lot, so I worked out for,
Mhm.
like, the first I don't know, let's see, how long did I do that for? I did that from, like so I did gymnastics for, like, 13 or 14 years, and, like, sure, when you first start, you don't do it a bunch, but when I was doing it competitive, I was working out 12 hours a week, and
Right.
so, like, 4 hours or 16 hours a week, 4 hours, 4 days a week, and,
Mhm.
like, I never felt like I got addicted to it, and,
Yeah.
like, what happened to me is I stopped gymnastics, and then I was just like, "I don't wanna work out ever." That sounds awful to me because I had
Yeah.
just, like, done it, and so, like, I've never experienced this, like, "This is awesome," and, like, from it, like, I'm strong and, like, I have a good physique and everything, which will eventually go away the longer I sit in my basement getting 1,000 steps a day,
Yeah, it
but,
will.
like, I'll just be skinny and weak, and I don't want that to happen, and I feel my, like, motivation building to actually do something about it, but it's just not there yet, but it's getting there, like, I'm getting really close
Nice.
to being like, "Alright, I'm actually gonna do something with my life."
Good.
Um, which to sort of wrap it around to the very first question you asked is how is it working in the basement all of a sudden? I think there's it's a process, right? So it's like it's really easy for me to just like pivot, jump, and just get into it. But then all these
Mhm.
other things are catching up. Like this physical side is catching up, and
Mhm.
like my eating side is catching up. So all these pieces
Mhm.
that have lagged behind that I've just left back there, they're
Mhm.
starting to like gain in a good way though. Like everything's starting to come back where I'm like, okay, I'm finally getting motivation to do this once I get my work routine. And then this,
Yep.
which I always expect to happen like, oh, you're supposed to be able to do that in the first week, dude. You're supposed to start something new and then immediately everything just locks into place.
Yeah.
And then we're now it's like I've been doing this for how long I've been doing this for? Since October?
I don't even know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So not even that long.
No,
Like
it
like
catches up fast, dude.
like 5 months, man. Like I feel like I've been
Yeah.
doing this forever.
Wel welcome to the office struggle.
Yeah. I feel like I've been doing this
Like, this
eternally.
is every office person's struggle, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like, where we left off on our last podcast, you know, we were talking about plumbing businesses, like, what your next moves are. Um, and we got to the point where, like, you're hiring technicians, like, you've got let's see, what did we leave on? You've hired a proper marketing company, and you have hired a CSR, right?
Mhm.
And now you're working on getting those technicians, right?
Mhm.
So along with that, I think we touched on like becoming a leader and all that kind of stuff, but and you're going to transition into the office, right? So
Mhm.
you're going to have to
Mhm.
go through those kinds of things. Like your
Mhm.
body's going to go from moving around as a technician all day to being in an office all day, and it's going to be
Yeah.
weird and uncomfortable, and
Yep.
you're going to lose muscle mass, and you're not going to know how to eat, and you should probably
Drink
go to the
water or
gym. You
yeah.
should probably go to the gym and eat healthy.
Yeah.
Um, but so before that, like you've got your CSR, you've got your marketing company, they're doing a bunch of marketing. Let's see what else. Like, what should you do at that point, right? Let's say you've got enough call volume. You probably need to start buying vehicles and hiring guys. Is and you can pretty much do that as fast
Yeah.
as you can. I mean, as fast as you can get guys and as fast as you can get vehicles in the door and get them ready,
Mm-hmm.
just hire them. And then if you're not getting the call volume, it just means more marketing.
Yeah. Okay. I got a question. So, what should you be hiring more vehicles or hiring vehicles? Yeah, let's go hire some vehicles. Should you be? I don't think that's going to work, Joel. Oh, why not?
Dude, that's not gonna work.
Should you be hiring or buying vehicles and then hiring guys, or should you hire guys and then buying vehicles?
Um, Probably, I don't know, either or. I mean, it'd be dumb to hire like 3 guys and have no vehicles to put them in, right?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
kinda silly unless you had the 3 vehicles, like, they're
Mm,
gonna be there, and you hire 3 guys preemptively. Typically, what I see happen is, in order to be motivated enough to actually get the guys coming,
mm,
you have to have bought the van, and it has to sit there, and you're
mhm.
making this payment on it, and it's
Right.
empty, and it's not making you money when it should be.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
costing you money. That's when you get motivated to be like, "I gotta get a butt in this truck
Right.
so it can make me money." But ideally,
Right.
you could do them at, like, the same time.
Yeah, I
"Oh,
guess
I
the
got a van
perfect
coming?
yeah.
Let me get a guy."
That'd be the perfect way to do it, but we were kind of talking about. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question I know you're gonna love. What kind of van
Yeah.
should I get, Jared?
I remember this conversation. So funny to me, the so I was never the kinda guy that got all caught up in vehicles and engines and motors and working on stuff. To me, that was always like, whatever, I don't care about that stuff. I could care
Yeah.
less what kind of truck you drive or car you drive or whatever, which served me well when it came to vehicles, right? Buying
Mhm.
vans. Which one's the best? Whichever one you can get at
Yeah.
the time. It
Yep.
literally doesn't matter. If you can
Mhm.
put a butt in it and send it to a job and it can look halfway decent, cool.
Mhm.
Perfect. Done.
Mhm.
If you can get it. Like, the big issue now is just getting them.
Yeah,
So
sure.
whatever you can get. I mean, in an ideal world, it'd be the biggest one you can get just so that when you wrap it, it's the biggest billboard it can be.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's
That's a
all I
good
would think about.
mhm. That's a good thing to think about. But yeah, in our current context, when it's hard to get stuff,
Yeah.
that just get the one that you can get.
Yeah. Get what
Yeah,
you can get.
whether it's a Ford or a Mercedes or a Dodge, it's
I've got
okay.
all 3.
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
because I just had to get what I could get.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
because again, you're in a business to make a profit.
Yeah.
You're not going to make a profit waiting for the ProMaster fleet.
No.
You're just going to be sitting there wasting your time.
Dude, and
So
who cares? You're not driving it anyway, right?
true, you're not.
I
And
mean, and
and
maybe you
even
are
if
at
like
first, but
yeah, sure.
eventually you're
What if your technicians notice and complain?
just fire them. No, I don't know. Just tell them that's all I could get.
Yeah, they'll understand if they're
I mean,
reasonable.
if you could get a Ford and a Mercedes and a Dodge, and you thought one looked better, or you liked the motor in the other one for some reason, I don't even understand that. Then sure, go get the one maybe you prefer a little more.
Yeah.
But all honesty, like at this day and age, you just got to get whatever.
Yeah, just get what you can get.
Yeah, whatever I can
And
get, I'm gonna go buy,
mhm.
and that like and buy it before you need it. That's what I would do. Like, we're talking
Yeah.
about hiring
Uh-huh.
technicians or buying vans first. If you're growing your business and you want to grow it to a point, like, number one, you should know where you want to grow it to. Like, for me, it was always, okay, I want to have 10 guys, so I need 11 trucks.
Mhm.
So I just bought trucks until I had 11 of them. Took me
Mhm.
2 years to get 11 trucks.
Mhm.
So I just bought trucks whenever there was a truck available or a van available. I bought it. But
Mhm.
I wasn't just waiting for them to be available. Like, I had to go actively search for these things. Like,
Yeah.
I bought vehicles from Anchorage, which is 350 miles away. I bought a Ford from Kenai. I don't even know how far away that is.
Far.
That is a ways away, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I would go like in Kenai, I would go to search Kenai car dealership, and I'd go click on all their websites and check their inventory.
Hmm.
So I went through all of Anchorage, all of Wasilla, all of Palmer, and then I went to Kenai, and there was a van available in Kenai. I called them, dude, is that van still available? I want it. And they were like, yep,
Mhm.
it's available. It's not here yet. I was like, I want it. Sign
Mhm.
me up. I'll
Mhm.
bill me my down payment. I want that sucker.
Yeah, I
Right?
have my credit card. I'm ready.
Yeah. So a lot of guys, I know a lot of guys will like wait. They're like, well, I don't need a van, so I'm not going to go look for one. Or they'll be like, oh, I called the
Mm.
Ford dealership. They don't have any. Or I called the Dodge dealership. They don't have any. Um, go look elsewhere. Like I know, like the van I bought in Pensacola, right?
Mhm.
There was 4 of them in Mobile. There was 2 of them here in Pensacola, I think,
Mhm.
which I don't know why I bought one in Mobile. It was
You had
dumb.
a reason. I think it was a price reason. I think it
It
was a
was
lot
cheap.
cheaper.
It
It was
was
a lot
cheaper,
cheaper.
but you know what? I didn't account for the taxes I had to pay.
Oh,
I think it
interesting.
ended up being more because I had to pay taxes on it, like out of
Oh.
state taxes.
Oh,
It
gotcha.
was dumb.
Interesting. Dang.
It was
That's so
dumb,
funny. You know what's funny about that is we're used to because we're in Fairbanks. I'll just drive 6 hours. It's not a big deal, and I'll get
yeah,
something. And then you're
yeah.
in Pensacola, like I'll just drive the Mobile. It's like this,
It's like an
3 hours
hour
away or
away.
whatever. And then
Yeah.
you're like, wait a second, I just went across the state line. I've
Mhm.
never gone across the state line when I bought anything like this. I thought I
Yeah,
was just going to Anchorage.
yeah. It's
That's
kinda
funny.
funny. Anyway, like, I don't know, I had a guy tell me the other day, I went to the Ford dealership, they don't have anything. I'm like, "Dude, just come down to Pensacola, there's 4 vans, is a lot." Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I remember, who was it? Bo McKenzie, right?
Mhm.
I remember he drove, gosh, I don't know, one of the other plumbers. He had somebody from another company that he knew meet him somewhere. They both picked up 2 vans and they drove him like 5 or 6 hours to where he's at, right?
Oh wow.
Just
Yeah.
just to get 2 more vehicles.
Hmm.
Because those 2 more vehicles can make you a lot of money if you can
Yeah.
get some
Yeah.
butts in them.
Definitely.
So, you've gotta be actively looking for them and finding them,
Mm,
searching them out because 'cause they're so rare right now. It's like a
mhm.
and they're gonna get bought up by somebody. So, you
Mhm.
gotta catch them, buy them, jump on it, and get them back to your shop or your house or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I like the idea of now you bought it, now it's a motivation for you to keep pushing forward because
Mhm.
you as a business owner need to be having this idea that you're moving towards something. Like you have some sort of soft goal in the future, and your soft goal could be 11 vans. So
Yep.
that's your metric for doing what you're doing. I wake up every day and I check for vans because I'm trying to get to 11 vans. I have 3
Yeah.
vans. I need to hire some guys.
Yep.
Like or these things are going to run all my cash out.
Exactly.
And now
Yep.
you have this nice like series of motivation like to just push you on to the next milestone to keep pushing
Yep.
you and
Dude, and that's
yeah.
something to think about too is like if you're if you're in the truck and you're plenty busy, like you're billing out money, right? You can cover 3 van payments. You can cover
Mm,
4 van payments. And if you've
mhm.
got 2 or 3 guys billing out, or if you've got 2 guys and yourself billing out, you can cover a lot of van payments. It's not
Yeah.
gonna sink you.
Yeah.
So just go get them, because then it's
Yeah.
gonna motivate you to get more guys.
Yeah, because they're gonna yeah, like you said, make you a lot more money than what you're gonna be spending on them.
Yeah, definitely. Like, go buy 3 at a time if you have to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, so you're let's see, you're buying vans,
Mhm.
you're hiring guys, and you're doing more marketing.
Do you have any, like, specific thing to talk about hiring guys or just hiring people? Like, any things to look for or mistakes you've made or you've seen people make?
Um, yeah, so, like, I would hire guys off character more than I would skill sets
Mhm.
because you could teach skills, it's really hard to teach character. So
Mhm.
if you can get guys with good character and teach them the skills, you're better off.
Right.
Even if, preferably they had the skills and the character,
Sure.
but if all you can get is the character with I wouldn't hire no skills, but if they've got good enough skills to go out in a truck by themselves, and maybe make some mistakes, and they've got some learning to do, perfect. Like those are the perfect kind of employees to me because you bring them in into your system and you sell them on your vision, and then
Mm,
you kind of
mhm.
grow them as a technician. You can number one grow them into what you want rather
Sure.
than something you don't want.
Mhm.
They come with a lot less baggage, right? And then you can also they just seem to be more committed to your cause in the end.
Mhm.
They're just thankful that you took them in and taught them all these new skills,
Mhm.
which is a cool thing to do anyways, right?
Mhm.
So
Mm.
it can be gratifying and it can be good for you as well.
Mhm.
That's how I would hire guys. Some people want to go hire these like A players, which is cool. But what you have to watch out for is when they come into your organization, you have to be solid on
Mhm.
the way you do things in your organization. You can't let them, because they're an A player, dictate how you're going to pay them or how you're going to
Right.
run this thing or
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Now, if they've
Mhm.
got good ideas and you can see this is a good fit for your company, cool, great. But for them to just come in and demand certain things and it's
Mhm.
not how you want to run your company because it doesn't fit and it's not profitable or
Mhm.
doesn't fit your culture or whatever reason you can come up with, that's when you've got a problem. Like I would
Sure.
rather not hire that guy and I would rather hire somebody who maybe isn't as capable, who I can form to my culture, who's going to fit in much better.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
long term, he'll be better for your company than the other guy.
Yeah, work culture makes a huge difference. Like,
Hmm.
anybody listening to this, I'm sure has worked around toxic people and how they just like destroy good things in any company. And
Yes.
if you got one of those people or a couple of those people, dude, it makes work
Hmm.
suck. Like,
It
especially
does.
from the managerial standpoint, like trying to manage toxicity is like the worst. It's like the
Yep.
most annoying thing. So, and unfortunately, sometimes that comes from really, really skilled people for whatever reason.
Hmm.
And it's tough because then you're like, well, I don't want to just get rid of the guy because he's awesome,
Yeah.
but he's brings these elements of toxicity. And that's when the manager really has to like rest on his authority, but then also really try to learn how this guy ticks to be able to
Yep.
steer him away from toxicity and turn him into a really powerful asset.
Yeah. And kind of the hard part, like for us, anyways, with Prospector is like you bring these guys in that are coming from, like, we're bringing them from construction world. They're not even
Yeah.
technicians, right? And so they kind of already have this slightly construction toxic mindset already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it can be kind of difficult for them to make that shift. But like if they come in like that, like I would rather be patient
Mm.
and, gracious to the guy
Mm-hmm.
and really help him to change his mind, change his mindset and
Sure.
help him have that shift. Um, in the beginning, like when you don't have very many guys and you're not making a ton of money, that might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
but later on, you can definitely do stuff like that. But like just setting clear expectations up front and letting them know, like if you know they come from an environment that's toxic, if you
Mm-hmm.
can set them up front and say, "Hey, look, we do not do this here. We don't have a bad attitude. Like number one thing that's going to get you fired, bad attitude.
Sure.
Like any bad attitude, we don't take that here. It's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number one. If you're a pain in the butt or you're grumpy or you have a bad attitude, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can set that up front along with all sorts of other stuff. Um, that usually does a pretty good job. Just letting them know your expectations and what it looks like to be a good employee.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help out a lot with culture
Mm.
and people like kind of conforming to your system, right?
Yeah, maybe that's a nice segue sort of into the next part. When in this process of creating this plumbing business we're creating in this conversation, do you really invest in system creation? Not necessarily like grabbing Service Titan and things like that, but like
Hmm.
really thinking about like, okay, this is my systems that I'm going to put in place for all the things I need.
Yeah. So I think like, to you're gonna want to like during this phase that you're in that we're talking about, you're getting vans, you're hiring guys, and then you're getting out of the truck is the goal. So you're out of the truck, and probably before then you've got your pricing figured out, you're on flat rate, you've got a price
Mm,
book built out, and you're on
mhm,
Service Titan. Okay,
mhm.
that covers like half of your systems.
Sure,
Maybe even more. Like, that's
sure.
just because Service Titan only works one way, and it works a
Yeah.
good way. So as long as you're doing it that way, then you're good. It's like 90% of your
Mhm.
systems. Um, but I would say probably at that point, that's like when you go in, okay, you probably need to be in 2 modes there. I guess depending on where you wanna go, Joel,
Mm.
thinking about
Mhm.
that. Like, if you wanna be
Mhm.
the guy that's the general manager of your business and you go to work every day in the office and you've got 4, 5, 6 guys out in the field, whatever your end point is, then maybe you're good. You've got 4 guys out in the field and you're the manager. Maybe that's where you wanna stop,
Hmm.
right? At that point, you would need to build out the rest of your systems, but because you're the manager, your systems can be very, very, very basic, right?
Yeah, because you're there
Um
to push the main thrust of those systems. You're there to carry that.
Right. Yeah. Um, if you're the kind of guy that wants to grow to, 10 trucks, 10 guys out billing and have a general manager in place, then, when you get into the office, you're still going to want to be in growth mode. You're still going to want to be
Mm.
buying more vehicles. You're just going to be able to do it so much more effectively. Buy more
Mhm.
vehicles, do more marketing. You're going to be able to push into marketing a lot more. You're going to be able to
Mhm.
spend more time looking for vehicles. And you're going to have like systems and things inside that you're doing in Service Titan are all going to break during that time. You're going to have to fix
Mhm.
them and teach your guys how to use it properly and all that stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but then, like, once like for me, it really wasn't until I hired a general manager. And then it was like, okay, I got to make this thing. It was like this long
Mm.
process of like refining at that point.
Sure.
So we
Yeah.
spent like a year. I've created my systems. Let's see, I hired my general manager in October,
Mhm.
and then I created my systems in December, like my
Gotcha.
final, like my
Mhm.
SOPs, right?
Yeah.
Standard operating
Sure.
procedures. That's when I actually
Sure.
went down and
Mm.
wrote them all up on the computer and put them in a program, made them accessible to everybody, and really defined like everything that we do, our vision, our mission, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, what it means to work at Prospector, um, how we hire people, how we train people, how we
Mhm.
fire people, and everything that's involved with all that stuff.
Mhm.
I don't remember where I was going with that, but that's really. Oh yeah, we spent like a year, right
Mhm. Mhm.
after October, just refining, 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 refining,
Hmm.
and we really just got done really refining it. I mean, there's always
Sure.
refining going on because you can always get better.
Right.
And it's kind of why I like my GM. He has this like pursuit
Mm.
for excellence, right?
Mhm.
So he's
Mhm.
always wanting to become more excellent,
Yeah. Sure.
just like Bill and Ted. Um,
Whoa.
whoa, dude.
Dang, dude. Dang, you went
um,
there.
but yeah, so I think depending on where you want to be, and then
Gotcha.
I would say you're gonna hire a general manager, and it's gonna feel like chaos. At least it should, because you're not gonna know like what his job is. He's not gonna know what his job is, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to kind of create that together, and
Yeah.
then pencil it out at that point. Start penciling things out, how it works, and then go into
Mhm.
refine, right?
Mhm.
Make and the cool part about that is like at my stage, like if you got to where I am right now in my business, where you've got 8 or 9 guys running around, you've got a general manager, you've spent time refining, creating your SOPs.
Mhm.
Now you have this thing that you can go recreate, or you can
Yeah.
grow bigger if you
Yeah.
want, right?
Sure.
You
Mhm.
have you have something of value at that point. Somebody
Mhm.
else could step in as the owner and continue to operate this business, right? So now you've built this machine that is that has value. Before that, the value is very little because if it
Yep.
requires you there, nobody's going to want to buy it and come in and be required to be there.
Yes.
Once you
So
have it, all the SOPs in place and all that stuff, it's valuable.
yeah, that's a really great way to describe SOPs because I think that sometimes they can feel burdensome, like, oh, I got to make all these
Mhm,
procedures and processes. But if you craft them or you understand them as a value statement of your company, like a value
mhm.
strategy, then
Yep.
there's a lot more incentive to do them and do them well. because that's
Yeah,
I've never thought about them that way, but that's like a really good way. I thought about them in the sense of like, oh, when you're gone, what are we gonna do? Like that obviously makes sense. You want to have
yep.
systems so that if you're not there, things can happen. But I've never thought about it like these actually add value because then when you're gone, a complete stranger can pay you money to walk into your business and then just pick up right where you left off and know where to go and know how to get there.
It's not even for them to know where to go, really. It's really that everybody that works for you from now until the end of your business knows what their job is, right?
Yeah.
And it's all documented.
Mm-hmm.
So, good people, if you hire good people and you write what their job is on paper,
Mm-hmm.
then they're going to be able to go look at that and go, "Oh, this is my job. This is what it looks like to do good here, and this is
Yeah.
how I should go
Yeah.
about it."
Yeah.
Cool, right?
Gotcha.
So if a somebody coming in to buy that can see that, "Oh, I just had to put people in," right? It's a
Mhm,
machine. I put
mhm,
people in, the machine spits the money out.
mhm.
As a buyer, that's what you want.
That's a good
Because you don't
business.
want to have to step in and understand every little detail and get
Sure.
calls about what to do in this situation or what to do in this situation. You want all that ironed out before you ever
Mhm,
buy it,
mhm.
so that you just you just buy it and it spits money out. And
And
then
it's been
and then you can continue to add good people, right? Because people are
Mhm.
gonna come and go.
Yeah, of course.
So
And it's
the ability to add a good person in and have them just be part of the machine that spits you money out, perfect.
and especially as a plumbing company, especially if you're the plumbing owner who has the ambition of exiting his plumbing company at some point as like the
Mhm.
retirement plan, then that's so important because like you could be selling to somebody who's maybe not a plumber themselves. They just might be, I don't know, some person
Yeah,
who's buying up businesses. And
yeah,
so when you're setting your business to sell, you want to be able that you can sell to anybody. You don't
yep,
because if you're just limiting yourself to plumbers, you have a very small amount of people who can actually purchase your business and do it and like would actually want it. But if you
yeah.
can just be like, "Hey, I have a money machine. Who wants to buy my money machine?"
Yeah,
Then there
yeah.
can just be like any venture capitalist or anybody be like, I'll buy your money machine and put it with my other money machines. Thank you, sir. And then you're
Yep.
way more attractive.
Dude, and you just hit on something that's so crucial of a plumbing business. You're creating a machine. Like, it doesn't matter that you do
Mm,
plumbing. Doesn't
mhm.
matter if you do plumbing, electrical, manufacturing something, you're creating a machine. Like,
Sure.
it's not about the plumbing. It's about creating this machine, right? So, I remember my coach all through coaching. It ain't about the plumbing. It ain't about the
Right.
plumbing, and I never got it until like, it always confused me, but it's
Yeah.
that right there, like, it's not about the plumbing, it's about the machine you're building, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then, like, for what you said about retirement, right? These guys that are building a plumbing business that isn't sellable, they're doing themselves a disservice, right? They could go
Hmm.
work for somebody else and get a retirement and stop working at some point in time.
Hmm.
If you have your own business, your retirement, your stop working at some time is the sale of your business.
Sure.
You don't have a retirement plan, right?
Hmm.
Sure, you could be in business for 20 plus years and you could put away money in retirement, which you
Hmm.
should, but
Hmm.
why not build something of value
Hmm.
while you're building it?
Hmm.
Like, it'd be stupid to say, "Oh, I don't want this to be valuable,
Hmm.
but I'm going to pour 20 years into it." That'd be dumb.
Yeah, that would be dumb. That's
Yeah.
that's not how
So if
you
you're gonna
approach anything. Like you don't approach
no,
anything else that way.
no, you're gonna put all this time into it. Maybe not 20 years, maybe 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, but you're gonna pour all this time into it, right? To build it into this machine. You might as well build it into something that's valuable.
Mm.
And the cool part about that is, like, take me for example. Um, I built Prospector, me and my wife did really. Um, and 2.5 years later, I spend like an hour a week on it.
Hmm.
I could technically retire.
Hmm.
I'm technically retired. No retirement account necessary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At 38 years old, and I didn't start
Yeah.
until I was 35 and a half.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm not even 38 yet. I'm 37. Oh, dude, I've been doing this a lot lately. I've been
Oh
telling people
man.
I'm older than I am. 37, okay? And I didn't start till I was 35, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Um, so why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I can answer that for myself because for me personally, I have never until I don't know, the last 4 or 5 months of my life considered that you build a business as its the purpose of building a business isn't just because you love the thing you do so much that you want to make it awesome and show people it. There's other
Right.
purposes behind that, and they can
Yep.
do other things. Yes, you should be interested in what you do because it just makes it easier. You should
Yeah.
build it and show it to people because it is awesome and you needs to be awesome to be successful. But
Mhm.
ultimately, you exiting it can be part of the plan. In my
Mhm.
mind, business was always this idea that like, oh, it's the thing that you have in your family forever. You know, you build a business and it's your one show and that's just
Mhm.
what you do. You made the grocer on the corner and that's your store. Hey,
Yep.
but in reality, you don't have to think about it that way. You can think about it as something of value that you create, you start, you get going, you get to a point where it's a machine, and then you put it up for auction or whatever, and somebody comes and buys it. And then you go, great, thanks, dude. And you leave and you go do your thing. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just think that people don't think about it that way because that's not
Yep.
how we're ever taught to think about it.
No. Yeah. Yeah. You can put it up for sale. I mean, you can hold on to it and make a ton of cash and
Mm-hmm.
keep the machine going,
Mm-hmm.
and then 20 years later put it up for sale,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
right? You could have made $20 million over the last 20 years and then go sell your business for 20 million.
Yeah.
Like, those are all possibilities, right? So
Yeah.
why not build something of value? Doesn't make sense
Yeah,
not.
totally. Yeah, yeah, and even if we're speaking to the person who wants to have their plumbing company for generations, you still operate out of the same principle
Mhm.
because I think it's just poor stewardship to do it a different way.
Agreed. Yep.
Because like even if you want like a multi-generational plumbing company, you might have a generation who's like, I hate this. I would
True.
leave, but let's be done, you know? And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's just how life is sometimes. But it'd be
Yeah.
much better to give that person something that's awesome instead of something that's just like barely
Yeah.
kicking along.
Yeah, it'd be pretty poopy if you died and your kids having to take over your crappy plumbing business.
Yeah,
Hmm.
dude.
Dang it,
That
this
would
sucks, Dad. Thanks a
thanks,
lot.
dad. I can't sell this. This isn't even fun. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, yeah, dude, that's how you, finish out your plumbing business, I guess. I mean, I mean, that's the funny part, Joel, is it's not that complicated. Like, we
Yeah.
started, you got a logo, you got the licensing, you did some marketing, you went to work, you made some money, you hired a CSR, you got a proper marketing company in place, and then you just do a bunch, you spend as much as you can on marketing and buy vans and hire guys, and eventually you become the general manager, and then you buy vans and hire more guys, and then eventually you hire a general manager, and then you go write your SOPs and refine your business for a little bit, and then you have a machine,
Sure. Yeah.
and there you go. I mean, that's
We'll
like
ha-
the whole thing, right?
we'll have to have a conversation on a different podcast about like the type of person it requires to sort of see that through because that's where people get tripped up because the system exists as you describe. Like there's
Right.
manuals, there's trainings, there's coaching to be like, this is all you need to do to be successful. But then what gets in the
Yeah.
way is the human is trying to implement it. And
Yep.
that's the tricky part is
It
like
is.
you, the person, need to actually do these things. And how do you go about doing them? And how can you get to be that person? Because
Yeah.
we need to have a vision of who that person is who can run that business. Maybe in our heads, that could be different for all of us, I guess, but we have to figure out how to get to that person, or we're just going to be stuck at step 3 or something, or step 4 and never get
Yeah.
over it.
I think listening to this podcast will help. Like just knowing that it's a possibility, number one.
Mm,
But yeah,
that's huge.
there's probably a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. But I think what you just said, I think is huge. Knowing that it's a possibility. Because it's like,
Mhm.
that's so much of life, right? It's like you never knew it was
Yeah.
possible until somebody told you it was. And now you're doing it.
Dude, 100%. Like, I had no idea. Like, I didn't know you could build a business that you didn't need to be there. That was not a thing that existed in my mind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There was no
Hmm.
reality of that in the world to me just 3 years ago. So, the fact that I'm, like, sitting here in Florida, my plumbing business is running in Alaska, and I don't really think about it. I don't ever check to see if we have enough work. I don't ever check any of that stuff, right? I just sit down with my manager once a week for an hour and we go, did we hit our stuff, right? Did we hit our benchmarks?
Mhm.
If we did, cool. If we didn't, how come? Okay, look,
Mhm.
what are you going to do to fix it? Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Right? So, like, that wasn't a possibility. And it's so crazy to me looking back now, like how I used to think and how I think now, and how much more possibility has
Mm.
like that my eyes are open to now. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
So incredibly wild. And it took somebody, it took me going, okay, I need help. I don't understand this, understanding I don't understand it, and then going, I need help. And then somebody else saying, look, this is a possibility. And me going, no way.
Yeah,
Thi
sure.
Really? Are you
Yeah.
sure? But I
Yeah.
had to, like, trust them and believe in them and do some of the stuff they told me to do, and then it started to tick in my head. I think it
Hmm.
ticked in my wife's head faster. She was
That's
like,
usually how it happens, yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like, I remember our business coaches told us, like, I think we left for a month vacation. Oh, we were planning on a week, and the coach was like, "Why not leave for a month?" And my wife was like, "Ding,
Yeah, she knew
we can
right
leave
then and
for a
there.
month.
We
This
could
is
leave
rad."
forever.
Yeah, and I was still thinking like, I don't know if I can leave that long. But we left for a month and everything was cool. It was good. But
Hmm.
yeah, it yeah, there's a lot to unpack there
Yeah, and I
for
think that,
sure.
like, that can be what we can try to do even on this podcast is try to talk about things that can be new ideas to people, new things that they never thought as possible, and
Yeah.
then sort of live out those examples to be like, look what we're doing. Look what we did. Look what you
Yeah.
did. Look at what I do. Look at all these things. Like, we're pursuing avenues that we didn't know existed until we learned about them. And so now we're trying to tell you about them so that you can also pursue them.
Yes. Because I can tell you right now, like because somebody told me about those avenues and I pursued them, my life is so much better.
Hey,
Like
not
hands
only
down.
that, your life is better, but I'm sure there's other my life is better because you pursued those
Yeah,
avenues. Your technicians' lives are better, your general manager's life is better. Like
dude.
that's
Yeah.
the power of owning a business. When you own a business and you do it well, you can really make other people's lives a lot better.
Dude, you create by having that vision and the passion for it. And this is my favorite part of business hands down. Screw the money, screw everything else. My favorite part has been creating opportunity for other people.
Mm,
And in doing that, I have made more money. Yes. And I've gained more
yeah.
freedom. Yes. But the coolest part is creating the opportunity for other people to make more
Hmm.
money and to bring them, like, because I made this decision, I now have this pyramid of people underneath me that have all had a better life
Sure.
because of one decision, right?
Hmm.
Which is super cool to think about. And I know
Yep.
that pyramid's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Yep.
And it's cool. It's fun. I like it.
I like it too, man. So
Cool, man.
so what do we
It's a good
learn?
episode.
Yeah, I guess we kind of
I don't
already
even know.
unpacked what we learned. We already
Yeah.
talked through it.
Yeah. Let's just end it right here.
Boom. Thanks everybody.
Hey guys, if you liked that episode and you want to see more like that one, I picked out a special one just for you. All you got to do is click right here.